Welcome back. For many of us, the retirement formula looks kind of like this. Work until you're 65 or 70, and then finally enjoy the fruits of our effort. But what if early retirement is actually the thing that's calling our name?
Here to tell us about how to make that happen and whether it's even possible is our resident money expert, Melissa Leong. Welcome back, Melissa. I, for one, am very excited about this because people trying to retire early right now, it actually has a name. It's like a whole movement, and it's called the FIRE movement. What is this?
That's right. So FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. Yes, the people who are pursuing FIRE are trying to retire before 65, when they're in their 50s, in their 40s, and in their 30s.
What?
Right? It's all about freedom from work, freedom from traditional systems, formulas. You get one life, so you should be able to define it and design the life that you want. And I mean, I ran into a woman at the gym 2 days ago who retired in her 50s. She worked her butt off to get there. Yeah. But she was unhappy at work, so this was a thing for her. It's not for everyone. It's tough, high cost of living, and 32% of Canadians have never saved for retirement. Right. Have never put any money. 32%. That's right. That's according to a recent stat. Wow. And so, that being said, I think that there are some really great takeaways. We can still get
even if we can't do it, we can still learn from it.
We can strive.
I love this.
Okay, yeah. So let's say people are curious, people who are watching are from various ages and maybe various saving levels. But like, what if you're curious, you want to start trying the FIRE strategy? What's the first step in figuring out if it's doable?
Okay, one of the very first things that people do is try to figure out their FIRE number. So this is the number you need in the bank in order to retire. This is the number that you have in investments. Okay. So a lot of FIRE devotees don't look scared. You look scared.
Terrified right now.
A lot of FIRE devotees use the rule of 25. This assumes that you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio over 30 years while preserving your nest egg. Okay, so this is how you figure it out. Figure out how much money you're going to need in retirement a year. Okay. And then you're going to multiply that by 25. Okay. So let's use actual numbers. Let's say that you think, you know what, I need $60,000 a year in retirement. Multiply that by 25. That means in the bank, what you'll need for retirement is $1.5 million. Okay. And take into account, there's this murmur that goes through the audience, but take into account, like any rule of thumb when it comes to finances, it's very simplistic. It doesn't take into account inflation or the fact that you may get government benefits that kick in at 65, and it doesn't take into account all the complexities and changing nature of financial planning.
I have a question. So you're doing this formula and you're 30, you're obviously putting in like 50 years or 60 years then as that calculation goes, correct?
So we'll get to that.
Okay, sorry,
so let's just assume, we're assuming that that's the starting off point.
Okay.
That's how much you can get.
Okay.
Yeah. So for 30 years. We're starting off with, we know how much money that we need to have, and we work backwards, presumably. Like, how do we go about saving that amount of money?
Yes, a chunk of money, yes. Okay, so there are 3 main pillars of this strategy, of the FIRE strategy. So saving, investing, frugality. So let's start with aggressive saving. Okay. People who are pursuing FIRE, they save a lot of their take-home pay. They are very aggressive with their savings, so they save more than 50% of their income.
Wow, okay.
And if you can't achieve this 50% or more, then there are other ways. They have side hustles. They make money in so many other ways. I know somebody who lives in the basement, rents out the upstairs. I know someone who drives and picks up a random Uber passenger if they're on their way somewhere. Or someone who has a million apps and then rents out everything from parking spaces to bicycles, musical instruments, any way to make this money. And then when you get that money, they invest it in smart ways. So you use tax-efficient shelters like your TFSA, your RRSP, and if your employee has a matching program, you take advantage of that. And they also, DIY investing is their thing because they're trying to reduce fees. So they're investing in low-cost, diversified ETFs, exchange-traded funds, or index funds, and they're investing as soon as possible. All of us need to do that to take advantage of compounding interest.
Okay, they also, my understanding is they also live a very minimalist, like they have a minimalist perspective, which is not, we're living in a maximalist world. So give some tips when it comes to that.
Okay, so that was the third point, which is the frugality part. Even though people who are part of the FIRE movement would say it's optimization, not frugality. I'm being smarter with my money. But I think we all can use a little bit more minimalism, to be honest, right? I mean, I can. It's better for the environment, reduces clutter, you're not buying what you don't need, and you're not impulse spending. So if you can, look at your budget line by line and see, is there anything here that I can cut? And if you're not sure, experiment. Sacrifice something.
Yeah, it does feel like small sacrifices now for 30 years perhaps of...
Yes. It's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off.
For later on.
Ooh, so not for everyone. What's the catch here? There's got to be a catch, or is there one?
Well, there are caveats. The caveat is that this involves, okay, what is the saying? The saying is, the only thing that is certain in life is uncertainty.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be planning and if you're going to take something like this on, there are going to be risks. One of that is market volatility. So if you're like, I'm leaving work, goodbye suckers, and you just quit, you're 9 to 5, and the market has a downturn at that time, you are depleting your nest egg too quickly. And so there's that kind of risk. There's also a risk that you never know what's gonna happen in life, right? So the rule of 25, as we said, is only for 30 years, but you're probably gonna need a little bit more because you're maybe retiring for 40, 50, 60 years. And so there are ways to mitigate that. There are ways to say, you know what, I don't know what healthcare costs are going to be. It's gonna be like, I don't know what kind of unexpected things are gonna come up. And maybe I need a little bit more, I can be flexible. I'll retire at 55, but I'm still gonna work part-time. Right. Or I'm gonna take that job at my favorite retail store.
So are there any, is that one of the tips for mitigating risk? Are there any other things that we should do?
You do need the flexibility to say, you know what, maybe, you know what, I would look for tips at my favorite. There's a FIRE community online. There are people like who are there to support you. Christy Shan, Bryce Long wrote a book called Quit Like a Millionaire. They are in their, they have retired in their 30s and they've traveled the world. And one of their favorite tips, one of Christy's favorite tips is your FIRE number in Toronto is going to be different than your FIRE number in, say, Hamilton. So if you can,
in say like a remote place in Spain.
With remote work, you can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
If you can retire somewhere cheaper, where your dollar will go further.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
These are smart.
Is this inspiring or what? Everyone's some ideas. Melissa, it is always such a pleasure to have you. Thank you for getting our wheels turning on this and thinking about our retirements. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're fired. Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.